Today's video, we're going to talk about offline conversion upload timing. Or in other words, if you get sales imported into your Google Ads account, uploading them manually using a spreadsheet like I talk about on this channel all the time, which, by the way, you should absolutely be doing because it makes a ton more money, ton more sales from the ad spend you already have by getting the extra or full amount of conversion data into your ad account than simple cart tracking will provide by itself, or simply lead tracking will provide by itself, just tracking leads coming in and not the sales revenue that comes in from the leads that you're creating. And why though, along with that, the timing of your uploads matters when using this process for yourself to get the most out of your ad spend with Google. So with that said, I will talk about the process, if you aren't familiar with this yet, what the process is, how much the timing matters, which is what the key, this video itself is going to focus in on today itself. And then I'll give you a case study as to how much more money you can make with this, with an active company where we switch to just uploading conversion data by itself and then timing it in a certain way, how much more difference this will have if you're already doing this. And if you're not uploading your sales conversion data, that is the revenue from sales that are occurring that isn't going into your ad account yet, how much more money this is actually going to make your business. And once you start doing this, everybody watching this should be doing it. And if you don't, you have no reason to complain you're not making very much money yet, because this is going to make a huge difference on the ROI of your ad spend and how quickly you can scale that ad account. I'm Corey Ziman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, an online advertising agency that specializes in giving guaranteed results to their clients. That is, we do not charge management fees to our clients until and unless we can get them a certain minimum lift in profitability of their ads or a certain minimum amount of profitability from their new ad campaign we set up for them up front, of which should tell you about the quality of the information that you're going to receive here on today's video. So with that said, I'll go into the details on what I was ready to describe and was talking about earlier. So the first thing I'm going to do, as mentioned, is I'm going to tell you about this so-called offline conversion tracking process. What it isn't, what it actually can do for your business. Now, right now, so there's two types of businesses that I'm going to talk about. As I mentioned before, you can actually do lead generation. That is, you're generating a phone call, form fill, and you're trying to make that lead turn into a sale somehow, some way. Then there's e-commerce businesses that try to get people to buy through the shopping cart. But if you sell something over $100 and you take orders offline as well, that is, somebody calls up, they ask a question, they want to put their order through the phone, you can use offline conversion tracking to get a lot more results from your ads. And I do mean a lot, by getting that extra sales data that occurs offline into your ad account so you can start getting the most results, the most sales long-term from your ads. Because it's not about just knowing about whether you got $10 in sales versus $100. It's about using that data to get more and more and more results all the time, because the system, a full understanding of where the results are coming from in your market, who's a customer, who's not. And then scaling up the part of what you're doing that is getting you profitable customers and scaling back the parts that aren't. And getting smarter and smarter and smarter all the time from doing this. So in other words, just to be clear about this, you will make more money every single, and I do mean every single time, from the ad spend that you have to invest with Google Ads. The more data you upload and the higher quality data that you give Google. When you're missing sales data or you're not providing any sales data to Google at all, that is, you're doing a lead generation campaign, as I talked about in that first scenario there, you are leaving so much money on the table from these ads. You basically anymore cannot get great results with your ads if you don't upload the proper conversion data into your account. That is, sales revenue, what's producing the sales revenue inside your ad account there, using the offline conversion tracking process. That said, I talk about on different videos how important it is. If you are generating leads, that is, whether you're selling product and you're trying to get people to call, that you can then talk that person into a sale, that is through an e-commerce or traditional e-commerce business, or it's a plumbing service and you're just generating leads and then generating the sale offline itself from those leads. Regardless of the situation in either one of those scenarios there, the more communication methods you provide your customer base or client or prospect base that you're trying to get to buy from you, the more sales you're going to make every time as well. That is, if you're just simply asking people to fill out a form on your website, but you don't have a call option, you're pissing half of your money away, generally speaking. It varies by niche market. Sometimes you might only lose 10-20% of your sales. In other markets, you'll lose 3/4 of your sales, just providing the one contact option. But going along with that, we'll generally always make more money offering a text option. A lot of people don't want to call, but they want to text. You don't provide a text option, you're going to get a lot less leads, therefore a lot less sales. Or they're going to be less likely to call and ask a question, which if they would have just called and you would have talked to them, they would have put their order through, but because you didn't offer that option, you didn't get that order. You'll make even more money providing a live chat option. Through live chat, just along the long lines of what I just said about text messaging as an option to communicate with your company, some people are willing and are comfortable doing a live chat. They don't want to just text message you back and forth. And so if you provide that option, you'll make even more money from your ad spend, whatever you're spending on ads today with your ad account. Okay, so with that said, your best bet is to offer all of these as your very first step if you want to make some serious dough with Google Ads. Providing a live chat, providing text message option, providing contact forms as a way to communicate with your business, and then of course phone calls. Providing all of it so that whatever people prefer, they can just go with whatever they're comfortable with. You'll get the most money out of what you're doing that way. Then on top of that, you're going to track whether a sale occurred or not for your business. If you're tracking all these leads and you're taking sales offline, you track the cart sales, and then you add any sales that occur offline but originate through these 4 sources of communication. You add that to your ad account so you can see one final revenue number. That is cart sales plus sales that occurred offline together, so you know what your ROI is and where all the sales are coming from inside your account. If you're just generating leads, you're the plumber, you're the foundation repair company, you're the lawyer, whatever it is, you're tracking all these lead sources, and then you're tracking whether a sale happens or not. And then through the offline conversion tracking process, you plug in that sales revenue data back into your ad account to steer the ads on a profit level. What is generating you profit, not what's generating you the cheapest cost per lead. Because naturally, the cheapest leads are never, ever, ever, ever going to be the best way for you to make the most money, because the cheapest leads are never the best leads. The best leads are oftentimes the most expensive leads. You can get a lead that's 3 times as expensive, but could easily be 20 times as valuable as any other lead, because it's a grand slam prospect that you could sell to that you're just getting outbid for accidentally, but you never have the insight as to knowing what that lead is worth truly, because you're not tracking what the closing rate on the leads you're developing from that lead source is. By keyword, by time of the day, by day of the week, by income level, by state, by city, by on and on and on and on and on and on. As you build up quality information in your account, this tells you inside and out who buys and what rate they buy at, so you can get the most customers at the minimum ROI that you need to be profitable, and do this. And you'll end up, as a result, whatever ROI that you need, you'll end up with 3 times to 10 times as many sales, optimizing for whatever's producing an ROI for you versus whatever's producing a cheap cost per lead for you. So through this offline conversion tracking process, which the fundamentals of how this works is whether they're contacting you through the live chat, SMS, contact form, phone call, you grab the Google Click ID, and when somebody then later on buys within the next 90 days, you provide that Google Click ID that came from that user back to your ad account, and then Google's going to show you the time of the day that they converted and spent that money, and that they originated from your campaign or whatever ad they clicked on to get to your site originally. Time of the day of the week that they searched, the keyword they searched on, the ad that they clicked on, and on and on and on. And more importantly, to feed the machine learning algorithm so that they look at thousands of different levels of what traits that person has versus people who did not buy from you, so they can differentiate who's your buyer, who's not, then tailoring your ads on an ongoing basis. You get the Google Click ID, by the way, by going and using a program like Live Chat Inc. that allows you to see the Google Click ID per user who chats with you. You could find the Google Click ID for someone who texts you or fills out the form or calls you just through using a simple CallRail account, which you can sign up for one of those accounts, callrail.com, so that later on when somebody buys, you just take the Google Click ID that you find either through CallRail or Live Chat Inc. If you're using that for your live chats, provide it to Google, and there you will see the revenue event and the revenue that was generated by time of the day of the week, keyword, and so forth. Okay? Now naturally, if you have that data flowing in, it's going to power the machine learning that Google has that's set up to get you what you want, which is more profit on an ongoing basis. Okay? With smart bidding, you can literally tell your account to optimize for, let's say, 600% ROAS or ROI, and the system will just go to town trying to get it for you, any which way it can possibly do it. Paying more for this person versus don't pay it, pay less for this person. Don't shut it off, but pay less. Whatever you can get on this person that's like this, at this rate, you'll take, but if it's over this certain rate, it's not worth it. Ultimately, Google, just so you understand why this is so powerful, Google's going to literally use their algorithm to sub-segment, even on an individual keyword level, the tens of thousands of unique traits that a person has that bought versus did not buy. What websites they visited in the past, what they've bought in the recent past, because they have access to this data through the Google Analytics that's on millions of different websites, through the access to of data that they purchase from third parties. They know you better than you know yourself. And so when you say, hey, this person here inside your system that you know because you've tracked everything they've done for the last 20 freaking years, had bought, they're looking at the last thing, everything they did over the last 20 years, and then compare it to all the other people who did not buy, and then make an inference on what are the things that make the buyer unique, and then steers your ads in a little bit better, more accurate direction moving forward. And the more customer data it has to look at, the better and more accurate it actually gets, to the point where once you have had thousands of sales, it's extremely dead on balls accurate in terms of getting you a sale at a profitable rate, and more so, the most possible sales you can get, because you can get that 600% ROAS, but you may only get 100 customers a month. If you had full revenue data that's possible to flow into your account that you possibly can upload, instead of getting 100 a month, you can get 1,000 a month at that ROI, which is where the real money comes in from using this offline conversion tracking process. Okay? Now, you upload this, you'd still be way better off than nothing uploading that conversion data to your account once a month. As long as you get it uploaded within the first 90 days from the ad click, you can see your sales revenue inside your ad account. Typically, when we were starting out, when you're starting out a campaign, you don't have that many sales, uploading all your sales once a month is totally fine. We'll ask the client for an export from their billing system once a month. That is, I want a list of all your customers who bought from you in the last 30 days, whether they bought from Google or wherever. We'll take it, we'll look at CallRail, we'll find the original lead that came in, grab the Google Click ID, upload it to Google Ads, then we complete the data loop that way. If it came in through live chat, we're going to check live chat Inc. and find the Google Click ID, initial chat that came in before the person bought, grab the Google Click ID, upload it. That said, as you get further and further along, if you want to get the full results out of what you're doing, truly, you need to be uploading that conversion data, not every month, not every week, but every 3 days to get the full value out of this. Why? Because when the algorithm is running your ads, ultimately, what happens is if you only upload the conversion data every month, it's going to think, oh, the ads aren't working very well. When really you're getting customers, but it doesn't see it. So it's just going to start ramping down the ad spend, because with the smart bidding, it's designed to get you an ROI. Well, if it can't see the customers, it's going to start ramping down the ad spend. Once you all of a sudden upload the conversion data, it's going to spike your ad spend and overcompensate and go and think it's more. It's going to go the other way. Then, and so basically, instead of having a nice, smooth sales coming in that's pretty consistent over time, it's going to be like down, up, down, up. And then furthermore, it's not going to be able to keep, because of this volatility and whether your ad shows up for a prospect, a known prospect type versus not show up, it's not going to get you the full value out of what you're doing, because this place that's normally profitable, it's going to not run your ad there anymore when you haven't uploaded your conversions in a while, because it thinks it's not working anymore. Whereas if it just had the conversion data, it would have just kept showing it. It didn't. Now you can see the inefficiencies of only uploading it so often versus every 3 days. But on top of that, you'll make even more results for yourself doing this if you are super consistent about it. Namely, you do it every 3 days, but on top of that, you do it in a very, very militant time schedule. That is, you pick 2 days of the week to upload your conversion data, whether it's Tuesday and Friday, Wednesday and Saturday, whatever it is, and you do not deviate from that. it makes a huge, huge difference, just that alone, in your results that you're getting, because then the algorithm understands, okay, the sales data comes in every 3 days, so with that, it can kind of adjust, okay? Now, you may say, well, if I upload once a month, can it adjust as well, even if you did it on the same day but once a month? And yes, it can. It'd be better than just uploading that data once a month on whatever random day, after 32 days, 27 days, and all that. So that is the case. But where the magic really happens is when you upload 2 times a week at the same exact time, or within, as long as it's like within sometime on Tuesday and sometime on Friday, if you pick those 2 days, and you do it religiously. If you do that, the ad account's going to run very, very like a well-oiled machine. The sales are going to be very consistent, and you're going to get the most ramp up in the profitability from your ads over time that you can get doing the upload slower and more on random times. With that said, so a couple other things here to mention. That isn't all you need to know about this. Okay, which, by the way, if you don't know how to set up these tracking systems, it's not hard at all to do this. I gave you some information. I've got videos about offline conversion tracking on this channel to give you the finer details on this. However, if you want somebody to just set it up for you, just reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. Be happy to speak with you about the topic of doing this, as well as give you some pointers to ramp up the profitability of your ads, the main other ways that are available to you. We can tell you what we could guarantee in terms of results. Reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about that, as well as, we can let you know what results we've got in your niche market before. If we worked in your niche market, and we've worked in over 100 plus niche markets in the last decade plus of running this advertising firm now at Guaranteed PPC, we'll tell you what results we got in your market. And if you want to buy the ads out from us outright, the ads, the campaigns, the landing page templates, for you to literally copy paste into your ad account and business, we'll sell it to you for a one-time cost, and you would know what you stand to gain with it up front, because we're going to tell you the results we've gotten with it in the past in a different geographic area that you're in, different city, different country, whatever. And you would do yourself a huge favor buying it, because there's no way you're going to be able to save money figuring and spending all the money that it takes to do the testing we did, when you could just get the winning version of what works in your market for a one-time fee and just copy paste it into your account. Anyway, if you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. We got people using these templates to start whole other businesses from scratch. If you want a passive income business, take one of our templates to generate leads and then sell the leads to people in that space. We've got multiple people doing that alone from these templates. Or if you want to get into doing e-commerce and sell something that you can easily get from China, like anybody could, like a printer toner, whether it's a mattress, you could take the template, start it up in an ad account, sell that product. You could easily get your hands on by making an order from China and have a turnkey business out of it. If you're interested in any of those other opportunities, I can tell you what markets we've worked in. First of all, we worked in over 100 plus niche markets, what results we've got, what we have available. Reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be happy to speak with you about the opportunity of buying our templates as well. But getting it back into the content here, you upload your conversion data. You know how important this is already, how this is going to make you way more money than not uploading the conversion data to your account. No matter how tedious or how much it seems like, oh, I don't really want to do it because it takes work. Just be the one person in your niche market who does it. You'll crush everybody else. Anything that is worth doing in life isn't going to be easy. Otherwise, your competition would be doing it, and there's no opportunity there's nothing to be gained when everybody else in your space does that. Everybody else knows about it and can do it in your space in terms of advertising. It won't be worth in the first place. Google Ads offline conversion tracking can be done uploading a spreadsheet to Google. I like doing spreadsheets versus using CRM integration. If you're doing that, because it's more accurate. I can use a human to verify a customer, because a lot of times people who order aren't the same people who initially click the ad, but it's the people who are associated. And we can, as a result of that, have some more accuracy or maximize the amount of conversion data we can successfully upload. So you could do this through your Google Ads account and the uploads menu on your account. Now, the problem with this is the Google Click ID is not available. And if you're on an iOS device, what you get instead of the Google Click ID, which, by the way, is in the URL. You can click on any ad, demonstrate this for yourself. If you click on any Google ad and you go to the landing page it takes you to, it'll say the URL in the URL bar, and then it'll have a / UTM _ source equals Google, UTM _ medium equals CPC, all that, and then GCLAD equals, and then a string of random characters and digits and so forth. That's your Google Click ID. What happens with CallRail, if you use CallRail to do this, it looks for that Google Click ID in the URL. So when they text you, call you, fill out the contact form anywhere on your site, that Google Click ID gets extracted at that point in time, and it's databased, or it's stored inside your CallRail account until you need it later. But what you'll do is you'll go ahead and if you're going to take my advice here, which you absolutely should, if you're serious about making money, you go look for that Google Click ID. It won't be there sometimes. It'll say W braid, G braid in replacement of the Google Click ID. And then so therefore with that sale that you've linked to a certain lead that came in, you can't do an upload for that particular sale. And in that case, you're screwed. If you use the manual offline conversion tracking process I just described. Now, if you use the Google Ads API to upload your offline conversions, or you just use your CallRail account and instead of uploading them manually, you link your CallRail account to your Google Ads account using the CallRail to Google Ads integration, the direct integration, and then because the integration automatically creates a conversion goal inside your Google Ads account for each channel, the forms and the phone calls, you can actually at that point in time find the call record that originally came in that eventually led to a sale, take the sales revenue, put it in the value box under that call record inside CallRail, and then automatically that revenue will show up under that call goal in your Google Ads account that was automatically created by CallRail and through the CallRail integration. That takes out the need for the Google Click ID altogether and gives you about another 20% more conversion data you would have got otherwise, because the Google Click ID is not there. It varies by niche market, but about 20% of the time overall, your Google Click ID isn't there. So you'll get 20% more conversion data using the CallRail API to send data to Google Ads through their API. And as I talked about before, the more data and the better quality data that you have going into your account about what's profitable, the more results you can expect out of Google Ads. It's not to be disputed, more profit every single time. And when there's only so many prospects in your market, in a niche market, like let's say you sell pottery equipment. There's only so many people who are interested in buying pottery equipment on a monthly basis. Once you pick all the low-hanging fruit in your space of people that are actively looking to buy right now, I hope you're satisfied with the revenue you have, because if you don't figure out how to run display ads or something else to get another traffic source going, you're not going to be able to grow your business anymore. The easiest way to keep sales growing, don't get capped out sooner than later, is to upload the revenue data, because it'll find opportunities that are worth going after that wouldn't be worth going after if you didn't know the value of them. That is, somebody who typically makes a huge purchase, let's say, but the lead costs a lot more than average. And through your system, if you're just using maximized conversion bidding strategy, which goes for a certain cost per conversion, not ROI, it'll just weed out the expensive leads that were worth a lot of money into your business, but it doesn't see the opportunity value itself and it being an overall better opportunity to go after, because you're not giving it the conversion data to be able to actually see and react to that. Naturally, should just be obvious, if you don't optimize your campaigns on a profit level and get all the sales data in your account, not just some of it, you're going to end up with less money from your market, because you're not going to be able to see all the opportunities. For what you can't see, you can't get. You have real world limitations on how much you can pay to get a sale. Well, you're only going to get a small fraction of the sales you could get optimizing for a certain cost per lead or cost per transaction than you could get optimizing on a profit level. Anyway, if you want to know the finer details on this and stuff like it, you should absolutely subscribe to this channel, because I give you for free all this information that we're using to guarantee results for clients at our firm. And I spend 40 hours a week doing ad testing to learn what this stuff is that works and doesn't work with ads, and landing pages along with it, and tracking along with it, because it's all part of my day job. So if you haven't subscribed, you should. I also got a great blog on this site, which the blog itself is even better than the channel if you haven't checked it out already. On the blog, you'll find step-by-step instructions to execute the strategies we're using to get results for clients at our firm on a guaranteed basis for them, with the screenshots, with everything you need. So if you haven't checked that out, you should as well. The main thing you should know, though, is the information that you're getting on this channel is coming from somebody who actively does ad strategy for a living, versus 99% of these bozos on YouTube and elsewhere who talk about ad strategy don't know anything because they don't run any ads. Or they run a couple ads and they don't really know anything. That's why the information is so bad on other channels, because they're just trying to make money off of advertising revenue. And they don't want to do ad strategy for a living like I do. I literally spend my weekends doing these videos, and I had to spend all week just to learn what worked in terms of Monday through Friday, my so-called day job. So if you're going to pay attention to anything, you might as well pay attention to this first. The offline conversion tracking process, and to get the value out of it so that you're, instead of making $3 million a year when your ads are all ramped up for your business, you're making $15 million a year because you've got the revenue data flowing into the account properly. And you're not just tracking when sales occur, but you're tracking, and just half of your sales occur through the cart, you're tracking them all. Or you track, even if, by the way, you track 80% of your customers go through the cart and 20% don't, the 20% that don't, that go through the phone, they're skewing bigger because the person that's willing to spend more is going to be more likely to need to call in for that purchase. So you're going to actually, it might be 20% of the transaction volume, but it could certainly be 35% of your sales volume. And that those sales are occurring at a much higher ROI. So ultimately, now you can, in that situation, you can end up with twice as much profit out of Google ads, just getting that extra 20% of transactions into your ad account. If you're talking about any kind of business where you're just doing lead generation, the difference between optimizing for a certain cost per lead and then maxing out the leads you can get at a certain cost versus maximizing profit out of that account, optimizing for whatever's producing the highest profit margin, you're talking at least 3 times as much profit out of that ad account long term, if not 5 to 10 times more. It all depends, on your situation. Those are the biggest kind of like variables there that I just gave you. But to give you a specific case study, as it's tied to timing, we recently just switched a company that was doing several $1 million a year in sales with selling home goods. Okay. We were previously updating the conversion data or uploading the conversion data somewhere between 10 and 30 days. We tried to upload it as much as we could, but we had some constraints where we couldn't upload it consistently and more often than that. Okay, because it's actually kind of a lot of work also to go find all the customers inside CallRail, then upload it all. But we got to the point where we were struggling to get more profit growth in the account. Which, in that point, if you haven't switched to uploading 3 days a week and consistently the same days each week, turnkey extra profit, and you can keep scaling on that front. So that's exactly what we did. We picked 2 days out of the week exactly to do the uploads, and we got the ROI of our account up from a 4-to-1 to a 5-to-1 just based upon doing it more consistently, and on top of it, getting about 25% extra revenue, and this was after 1 month of doing it already. Now, since then, we've only been doing it for 2 or 3 months already. That's the kind of results you can get right away doing it. Over time, if you compound this over the next 5 years, what it's going to help you actually do is scale quicker. The system's going to learn and adapt quicker. So 5 years from now, instead of being a $5 million a year business, it'll be, whereas it would have been a $10 million a year business, the bigger you get, the slower you scale, typically in a micro niche business like this. So that's not that impressive of a revenue growth. Going from 500,000 to, you can spend 7 years going from 300,000 to 5 million, but it can easily take you another 5 to go from 5 to 10 while maintaining a certain ROI, just because the low-hanging fruit's already been picked. But the way that we're going now, just based upon the modeling that I did, instead of 10 million in 5 years, we'll be at 15, just simply by uploading the conversion data in a consistent fashion, doing it religiously on time and much quicker than we would otherwise. For the main part, or the main reason, is when the busy season hits and all the sales come in the springtime, the system's going to be able to not miss a beat and get every last customer possible during those busy times. And then furthermore, when it gets to be the non-busy times, like during Christmas, everybody's blown their wad already, it's not going to be running hot for too long, which is the other reason why you're going to be able to make a lot more money from it. So it's going to save you from the bleeding that happens in every business inevitably, which goes on. And then the times where you should be getting every last click, it'll adapt quicker. That's a perfect example of how much more money you can make when just simply doing this one thing. Timing your uploads better and doing them, a lot more often in general, but just being consistent is at least half of it. Just to put it into perspective, the quickness of it is one thing, but the consistency is just as important. So I want you to really realize that. And when you're talking about uploading conversion data to your ad account, and we had a plumber that we switched over to have uploading the revenue data for a plumber, and instead of just optimizing for these drain calls that we were getting and only being able to and willing to spend so much for a call, $90, $100, $125, switching to optimizing for profit, given there's a huge amount of difference in one drain opening call versus another. Woo! We were making way more money after 24 months of switching over to or doing the uploads of the revenue and doing them. And this wasn't even switching over to a 3-day. This was just the old way where we typically were doing it once a month because we only had so much resources. We were only charging so much money to the clients at that time for doing what we're doing. And of course, the client never wants to do the uploads themselves. Whereas we really couldn't get many more leads at that cost per lead. We were able to get 3 times plus more leads within that 24-month window, or by the time the 24 months was passed, just by uploading the revenue data. And yes, the lead cost went up, but it was fine, which is what this does for you ultimately, optimizing on a profit level. Instead of being able to pay $100 a lead and making money, we're paying $180 a lead, which gives us 3 times the opportunity to get leads, but still maintaining an ROI on what we're doing similar to what we had before. So 3 times as much profit because we're getting 3 times as many sales, understanding where a lead's worth twice as much and understanding where a lead's worth half as much. By the way, I've been starting to offer coaching with different companies, different agencies. If you want to schedule a coaching call where I can tell you exactly what your problem is, whether it's the landing page, the website, the tracking, your business, your pricing, your website design, what the bottleneck is, I can diagnose it for you. The reason why I bring this up, because a lot of you guys, you're struggling to get whatever you're trying to work on to work, but the reality is you have a problem over here. You think your problem's here. You need to get Google Ads to work, but really your pricing scheme isn't right, or your website's not designed quite right, or your landing page is not quite designed right, and you need to know this so you don't waste your time. I have 20 years of business experience, and I've worked on hundreds and hundreds of businesses to give you really quickly whether you should be beating your head against the wall to fix your problem or work on something first, then come back to what you're doing. That is to get your ad campaigns to scale. It'd be really worth it for you to do that. You can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com if you're interested in that. But with that said, I'll wrap everything up with that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said offline conversion tracking was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.